You bought seeds again this spring, probably bought them last year too. And the year before that, every single year you buy seeds. Every year you pay the seed company. Every year you depend on them having what you need when you need it. Your grandfather saved his own seeds, kept the best from every harvest, stored them over winter, planted them the next spring. Never bought a seed in his life after the first year. Never needed to, never thought about needing to. That capability is gone, not just from you, from all of us, permanently. You can't save seeds from your harvest and plant them next year, even if you wanted to, even if you tried. The seeds won't work. The law won't allow it. The infrastructure doesn't exist. And you'd go broke trying. Something changed between his generation and yours. Three things, actually. It's three shifts that seemed like progress, seemed like innovation, seemed like better farming. And together they took seed independence away from farmers and gave seed control to corporations who profit from your dependence every single spring. Your grandfather planted what he saved. You plant what you buy. And once that change happened, it became permanent. The independence he had doesn't exist anymore. Can't exist. The door closed. This is how American farmers went from controlling their own seed supply to depending completely on corporations for something farmers provided themselves for 10,000 years. Your grandfather walked into his seed room every spring, grabbed bags of seeds he'd saved from last year's best plants, loaded them on the planter, went to work. The seed was his. The genetics were his. The decision was his. The cost was zero beyond storage. He wasn't unusual. Every farmer saved seed. That's what farming was. You grew a crop. You kept the best for next year's seed. You stored it properly. You planted it. Generation after generation, the same seeds, the same genetics, improving slowly through selection, adapting to your specific land, your specific climate, your specific conditions. Those seeds knew your farm, had grown there for decades. Your grandfather's father saved them, his father before him. The seeds were as much a part of the farm as the soil. They belonged there. They came from there. They returned there. And saving seed wasn't just about cost. It was about control. Your grandfather decided what varieties to keep, decided which plants had the best characteristics, decided what worked on his land. Nobody told him what to plant. Plus, nobody sold him genetics he couldn't control. Nobody owned the biology growing in his fields. The seed was his, completely, to plant, to improve, to share with neighbors, to sell if he wanted. Ownership was absolute. You don't own the seed you plant, you license it. There's a difference. 3 reasons this changed. 3 innovations that sounded good, that promised better yields, that looked like progress. And 3 permanent shifts that ended farmer control over the most basic element of farming, the seed. The first reason seemed brilliant at the time. Still seems brilliant if you don't look too close. Hybrid seeds, higher yields, stronger plants, better disease resistance, real improvements, genuine agricultural innovation. In 1935, seed companies started selling hybrid corn. Cross 2 different varieties in controlled conditions, plant the resulting hybrid seed, get yields 20 to 30% higher than traditional open-pollinated varieties. The improvement was real. The yields were real. Farmers who planted hybrids made more money that first year. Your grandfather heard about it, heard neighbors talking about yields, heard extension agents recommending hybrids, saw the demonstration plots. The numbers didn't lie. Hybrids produce more. So he bought hybrid seed, planted it, harvested a bigger crop, made more money. Seemed smart, seemed like progress. But here's what the seed company didn't emphasize. Here's what your grandfather didn't understand until the next spring. Hybrid seeds don't breed true. Save seed from a hybrid crop, plant it next year, and you get wildly unpredictable results. Some plants vigorous, some weak, some productive, some sterile. Yields drop 40%, 50%, sometimes more. The genetics segregate. The hybrid vigor disappears. You can't save hybrid seed and get the same crop. Not even close. It's biologically designed that way. The hybrid vigor only exists in the first generation. After that, it's gone. which means you have to buy seed every single year. Can't save your own, can't be independent. The seed company breeds the hybrid parents, controls the crossing, sells you the hybrid result. You plant it once and you're done. Next year you buy again. Your grandfather bought hybrid seed that first year, thinking he was making a one-time investment in better genetics. Didn't realize he was signing up for a lifetime subscription. Uka didn't realize he'd just traded seed independence for seed dependence. Traded one-time selection for annual purchases. Traded ownership for rental. And once he switched to hybrids, he couldn't go back. His old open-pollinated varieties, the ones he'd saved for years, the ones his father grew, those were gone. Didn't keep them because he was planting hybrids now. Within a few years, the old varieties disappeared from his farm. Lost. And the same thing happened to every farmer. Everyone switched to hybrids. Everyone stopped saving seed. And within a generation, the old varieties were gone. Not just from individual farms, from entire regions, from the whole country. The seed companies had created permanent dependence, not through force, through innovation, through actual improvement, but dependence nonetheless. Farmers gained yield and lost independence. And the trade seemed worth it at the time, but hybrids were just the beginning. The second reason made dependence legal and permanent. Seed patents, intellectual property law applied to biology, corporate ownership of genetics. In 1970, the Plant Variety Protection Act gave seed companies legal ownership of the varieties they developed. Meant farmers couldn't save patented seed legally even if it would breed true. The genetics belonged to the company. Planting saved seed violated intellectual property law. Then in 1980, the Supreme Court ruled that genetically modified organisms could be patented. Not just varieties, individual genes, specific traits, biological mechanisms, all patentable, all owned by whoever engineered them, which meant seed companies could own not just a variety, but the genetics inside it, the traits, the characteristics, the biology itself. Your grandfather's saved seed belonged to him completely. Yours belongs to Monsanto, or Bayer, or Corteva, or whoever holds the patent. You're licensing their intellectual property for one season. One planting, you don't own it, can't save it, can't replant it. Doing so violates the contract you signed when you bought the seed. And you did sign a contract. Maybe you remember signing it, maybe you don't. But buying patented seed means agreeing to technology use agreements that restrict what you can do with the seed you just bought. You can plant it once. That's it. Saving seed, a seed, replanting seed, breeding with that seed, sharing that seed with neighbors, all prohibited, all illegal. It were all violations of intellectual property law that seed companies will sue you for. And they do sue. Farmers who save patented seed, who replanted GMO crops, who accidentally grew patented varieties that blew in from neighboring fields, sued for patent infringement. The seed companies have entire legal departments dedicated to finding farmers who violate seed contracts. They investigate, they test, they sue, and they win. Because the law is on their side, the patents are real, the contracts are enforceable. Seed saving went from normal farming practice to intellectual property theft. Your grandfather saved seed because it was his. You can't save seed because it's not yours, even though you grew it, even though it came from your field, from your soil, from your work. The genetics are owned by someone else, and saving them is illegal. Which means even if hybrid seeds did breed true, even if you could save them successfully, you still couldn't do it legally. The law prohibits it, the contracts forbid it. Corporate ownership of genetics made seed saving a crime, but patents and hybrids weren't enough to make dependence total. The third reason finished it: infrastructure collapse, the disappearance of the entire system that made seed saving possible. Your grandfather had a seed room, a dry, cool space where he stored seed over winter, temperature controlled, humidity controlled, rodent proof. He knew how to dry seed properly, store it safely, test it for germination, clean it for planting. That knowledge was passed down from his father, standard farming knowledge. He had equipment for seed cleaning, screens, blowers, gravity separators, could remove chaff, ate broken seeds, weed seeds, anything that wasn't good planting stock. Could grade seed by price, by weight, by quality. The equipment wasn't expensive. Most farms had it. And if he wanted varieties he didn't grow himself, he had options. Local seed companies that sold open-pollinated varieties you could save. Regional suppliers that specialized in adapted genetics. Neighbors who shared seed freely because everyone benefited from better varieties spreading. That entire infrastructure is gone. Most farms don't have seed rooms anymore. Don't need them. Why store seed when you buy new every year? The space is used for something else or torn down. The knowledge of proper seed storage, seed drying, seed testing, that knowledge stopped being passed from father to son. Your dad probably doesn't know how to store seed properly. Well, you definitely don't. The equipment is gone too. Seed cleaning machinery, testing equipment, storage facilities, all disappeared as farms stopped saving seed. You can't find that equipment now. Can't buy it. Old machines scrapped. New ones not manufactured. Because there's no market. Nobody saves seed anymore. And the seed companies that sold open-pollinated varieties you could save, they're gone. Out of business. Merged into the big companies. Or just closed. Because why sell seed farmers only buy once when you can sell seed farmers buy every year? The business model for savable seed doesn't work when patented hybrids are more profitable. Even if you wanted to save seed now, even if it was legal, even if the seed would breed true, you couldn't do it. You don't have the storage space, don't have the equipment, don't have the knowledge. You don't have access to varieties worth saving. The infrastructure that supported seed saving collapsed completely. And without that infrastructure, seed saving is impossible, even if everything else changed. Your grandfather had independence because he had capability backed by infrastructure, backed by knowledge, backed by legal right. You have dependence because you lost all four. The seed won't work, the law won't allow it, the knowledge is gone, the infrastructure disappeared, and seed companies profit from every single one of those losses. What did farmers lose when seed saving ended? First, they lost an ownership. Your grandfather owned his genetics, improved them, adapted them, passed them to his children. You rent genetics for one season from a corporation. Each spring you pay again. The biology growing in your field belongs to someone else. Second, farmers lost flexibility. Your grandfather planted what worked on his land, could experiment, could adapt, could change. You plant what the seed company sells, limited varieties, regional restrictions, take what's available or don't plant. Third, farmers lost resilience. Your grandfather's seeds were adapted to his specific conditions through generations of selection. Knew his soil, knew his climate, survived his challenges. Your seeds are bred for average conditions across huge regions. Might work, might not. You won't know until harvest. Fourth, farmers lost knowledge. Seed saving required skill, selection required judgment, storage required understanding. That knowledge is gone. Not taught, not practiced, not passed down. You know how to plant seed. Don't know how to save it. That capability disappeared in 2 generations. Fifth, farmers lost security. Your grandfather's seed room meant he could always plant. Supply chain problems, company bankruptcies, logistics failures, none of that mattered. He had seed. You depend on spring delivery. If the seed company can't supply, you don't plant. You have zero backup, zero independence. And sixth, farmers lost leverage. Your grandfather could choose not to buy, could save instead, could bargain. You have to buy every year. The seed company knows it. You know it. The price reflects it. You're dependent. Dependence is expensive. Seed companies gained everything farmers lost. Annual purchases instead of one-time selection. Patent protection instead of open access. Legal control instead of farmer ownership. Permanent profit instead of temporary sale. Dependence instead of independence. And here's what makes it permanent. The capability is gone. Even if the patents expired, even if hybrids weren't dominant, even if the law changed, farmers couldn't go back to saving seed because the knowledge doesn't exist, the infrastructure doesn't exist, the varieties don't exist. Your grandfather's seed room is empty. His seed cleaning equipment is scrapped. His saved varieties are lost. His knowledge of selection and storage died with him. And 3 generations of farmers have never saved a seed in their lives. How do you rebuild capability that's been gone for 70 years? How do you recover genetics that went extinct decades ago? How do you relearn knowledge that stopped being taught before you were born? You probably can't. The door closed. The capability was lost, and dependence became permanent. Some farmers are trying to bring seed saving back, small-scale, heirloom varieties, open-pollinated genetics, seed libraries, local seed networks, but it's tiny, it's difficult, and it's fighting against a corporate seed system with billions of dollars, legal protection, and total infrastructure control. Can farmers reclaim seed independence? Can the capability be rebuilt? Or is it gone forever? Your grandfather saved seed every year. Never thought about it. Just normal farming. You buy seed every year. Never think about it. Just normal farming. 2 different normals. One meant independence. One means dependence. Did your grandfather save his own seeds? What varieties did your family keep for generations? What happened to them? Share your story below. Fellow farmers, if we're going to understand what we lost, we need to remember what it looked like when farmers still had it.